Who a Child's on the beat, best producer in Louisiana. If you don't believe me, go to his YouTube page and check him out. My name is Sidney Combs, and I'm a young entrepreneur from Shreveport, Louisiana with a dollar and a dream. And the message for tonight is, decisions will shape your life. Decisions now will shape your life. A choice that you make today, it will affect you 10, 20, 30 years from now. Think about a little boy that might want to go to the NBA playing basketball. He want to be a great player, okay? Think about when their dream starts. Their dream starts around 8, 9, 10 years old. Then what does he do? He pick up a ball every single day to play the game of basketball. Every single day he pick that ball up to shoot it. Every single day he pick that ball up to pass it. Every single day he run. Every single day he jump. Let that sink in for a second. In order for him to get to the NBA, let's just say that kid actually makes it to the NBA. What happened throughout his life? Choices and decisions. The decision he made at 10 panned out when he was around 25 years old, 24, 23. Think about it. Your decisions that you make when you're younger or even older, those decisions years later, you're gonna feel. So whenever you see someone, no matter what the environment is, no matter how much money they have, it all stems back to decisions that they made 10, 20 years ago. It all starts from that. Think about someone that's a business owner. Excuse me. Normally when you see someone that's a business owner, they didn't just wake up and start a business. They probably wanted to start a business when they was 15, 20 years old. They wanted a business, but they didn't know how to go about doing it. Then they might have started reading a book, or they had a mentor around them that showed them the way. And throughout them having that mentor show them the way, what started happening? They started to make a decision, right? And even when they started their business, the first 5 years, they might didn't make any money, but they kept going. And then by year 10, you see that they blew up. They're making so much money. And you like, man, I want to be like that, man. Man, I wish I was making that kind of money. But you don't understand the decision that they made 15 years ago that led up to the money. See, we're quick to sit there and we want to have other people's lifestyles, but we don't understand what it took for them to get to that point. We don't understand the sacrifice that it took for them to get there. I want a home. Home I'm living in right now. Before I ever got in this home though, this home was a dream. I was a kid. As a kid, I lived in apartments. And I made a decision at a young age that when I get 30, I'm gonna get a home. That was always the decision I said, man, at 30, I'm gonna get a home. Now, it took me to 34. It took me 4 more years for me to get there. To get the home I wanted, okay? At 34. But what happened? I made a decision when I was like maybe 10, 12, 13 years old. Probably about 13, 14. Think about it. I got the home at 34. So that was 20 years later when I decided that I was going to get a home. And see, that's the thing about life. See, we don't understand that our decisions are key. As a young man, I knew I wanted to be wealthy. I knew that. So there were decisions that I made at a young age. My pops used to always tell me, son, don't make kids at a very young age. Establish yourself as a man first. That was a decision that I made. that put me in the position I'm in today where I can chase that dream of becoming a millionaire. Because of that decision that I made. Because I could ignore what my pops told me. I could ignore him, but I did. I listened to him. And see, that's the thing about life that we fail to realize. Decisions will shape your life. If you show me someone that lives a poor life, I'll show you a person that made poor decisions. If you show me someone that lives a wealthy life, I'll show you someone that made good decisions. Just that simple. Decision making is key in whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. If you want a successful business, you know what you have to do? You have to make successful business decisions. If you make poor business decisions, your business will fail. And these decisions are small decisions. See, people think, man, I gotta make big decisions. No, they're small decisions. When you wake up every day, do you try to get another customer at your business? And if that's what you're trying to do, you made a good decision. With the money in the business, or are you making a decision to manage the money properly? That's a good decision. When you're younger, you're in your 20s, you could be drinking, you could be smoking, you could be having sex with a lot of women, you could be clubbing. Like, there's so many things you can be doing. But what decision are you going to make while you're 18? What decision are you going to make at 20? When you're in college and you only got to be in school for 4 years to get a degree, what decision you going to make? Or you going to say, hey man, look, I got the rest of my life to party. Let me take this 4 years and graduate. Then I can do whatever it is I need to do. See, if you do that, guess what's going to happen? Your life will be completely different 20 years from now. At 23 years old, I made a decision that I was going to drive trucks. So I went to driving school. I went to driving school when I was 23 years old. I ended up getting my license at 24. At 23, I wasn't really making a lot of money. Then even when I first got my CDL, the first couple of years, I didn't make a lot of money. But what happened? The decision I made, right? I could have switched it up, but I stuck to it. I stayed to it. I stayed to the decision. And now I make a pretty good amount of money now. And see, the average person look and say, oh man, well, he got a good job and he made good money, but they don't look at, well, dog, he made a decision 15 years ago that put him in this position now. See, most people, they just see the success, or people just see, oh man, a person that's rap that's big. Think about this for a second. I heard Young Jeezy and Rick Ross and them say that they was rapping over 10 years before they even got a dime from rap. Before they got on. 10 years before they really was successful in music. A decision they made in the 90s didn't pay off to the 2000s. But see, we're used to, in this day and age, to where we're used to instant gratification. We want everything to come like this, quick, fast, in a hurry. But that's not the way the world operates. Not the way the world operates. Think about if you see a woman, right, that's in a successful marriage for 20 years, okay? How does that happen? A decision that she made when she was younger, that she was going to be in that position. Then think about another decision, that there's a pretty good chance that she had parents that talked to her and walked her, hey, this is how things should go. This is the way a marriage goes. You're going to be ups and downs. You keep fighting, you keep going. Those decisions that was made and put that seed they were put inside of her at a young age, right? It got her to the position to have a 20-year marriage. But when you see that, you just look and say, oh man, it's 20 years. You don't look at, okay, well, dog, what happened before she even got married? How was she trained? What decision did she make? And see, most people, they blame the world for every excuse, every decision, but nobody control you but you. Nobody on this planet control you but you. But what do most people do? They blame everybody. It's everybody else's fault. It's every man or woman they ever dealt with. It's the parents' fault that raised them. It's the uncles and aunts' fault that brought them up. There's no good people in the world. All the above. But it never gets to a point of, hey man, I made poor decisions. I made poor decisions. And most people say, well, I made a bad choice. Okay, you can say you made a bad choice, but ask yourself a question. Were you a good choice also? And most of the time the answer is going to be no. You wasn't a good choice either. So now you got to go back to your choices and your decisions. What choice did you decide to make when you wake up every morning? Do you decide to get better or do you decide to get better? Most people, the older they get better. They don't get better. Why? Because they refuse to make the decisions that they need to make to get to the next level. Make a short-term sacrifice to get a long-term reward. What are you willing to sacrifice now? There's a lot of people that might say they want to purchase a nice home. But then I would say, okay then, well what if I told you, whatever car you paying a note on, turn it back in, get you a little cash car, might cost you $1,000, $2,000, drive that car for a year, that same car payment, put that in the bank. Do that for a year or two. Let's just say your car no $300. This is small. In a year, how much is that? It's $3,600. That's a down payment on a home in 1 year. That's just $300. That's just $300. See what I'm saying? But what decision do you make? Do you got to live and be the superstar of the neighborhood? Do you got to be the superstar of the job? Do you got to be the superstar of the family? Or are you willing to make a short-term sacrifice for a long-term reward? What about the shoes? What about the clothes? What about the people? You got the Louis, you got the red bottoms. Are you willing to make that sacrifice to put yourself in a better position? You can always go back and get the cars. You can always go back and get the clothes. You can always go back and get the shoes. You got limited time to go get that house, to get that home. Make the sacrifice. But in order to do that, that goes back to decision making. Decisions you make now will affect your future. So many people, they go through life and what do? They're paying bills for luxuries and they never accumulate assets. And they wonder when they're 40 and 50 why they have nothing. Because red bottoms are not valuable. They're only valuable to the owner. That's it. And maybe a few people that might want to buy them. But even if the people that want to buy them, are they going to want to buy them at the price you paid for them? No. They want to pay a lesser price for them. So think about the decisions you make in your 20s. In your 20s, you say, you know what? I'm going to take money, I'm going to start investing. I'm invested. I'm going to take money and I'm going to put 10% of my check toward a 401k. I'm going to take money and pour it into my business. I'm going to take most of my money and just pour it into my business. The decision you made in your 20s, by the time you get 35, you're like, ooh, man, I'm good now. But why did that happen? The decision that you made 10 years ago, you control you. But for some reason in the world we live in, we love to blame everybody else and say it's everyone else's fault. It's everybody else's fault. Or it's the white man's fault. Instead at the end of the day understanding that, hey man, you control you. You control you. The decisions that you make now will shape your life and affect you in the future. Everyone has the same amount of time. What do you do with your 24 hours of the day? If you spend your 24 hours chasing sex, partying, drug use, entertainment, watching TV, social media all day, guess what result you're going to get? You're not going to get too much of a result. Let's say you take your time and you start studying every day. I'm going to study toward a business that I'm trying to own. You take your time and you say, I'm going to go back to school, get additional training. You go back and say, hey, I'm going to get another job that can help fund my business. Think about that. What do you think those decisions are going to do for you in the future? They're going to put money in your pocket. They're going to make you be able to go after your goals and dreams. See, the whole point of this video is to understand this. The decisions you make now will shape your future. The decisions that your children make now will affect their future. The decisions you make now will also affect your children's future. So when you see that little kid with their dream, right? If their mom and dad don't support their dream, that's a decision that their parent made that can affect their child. But what if they got their mom or dad or their aunt or uncle that's willing to support their dream and push and say, you got it, I'm here to support you? What decision do you get from that? Their life is completely different. We got to get to a point of making an impact in other people's lives instead of just our own lives. Instead of doing everything for us, we got to start doing it for this next generation. Help them become better. Help them make better decisions. Because the decision you make now, it doesn't just shape your life. It shapes your child's life and it shapes your grandchildren's life. You are way more powerful than what you give yourself credit for. Start making better decisions. Start becoming a better role model. Because the best role model you are, you're going to be a better role model for your children and your grandchildren and your nieces and your nephews because they have something to look up to. My name is Sidney Combs, and I'm a young entrepreneur from Shreveport, Louisiana with a dollar and a dream. I need everyone to like this video. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. I'm not asking you for Cash App. I'm not asking you for PayPal. I'm not asking you for much. You can support this channel. Also, I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, I'm on TikTok. Under the name Sidney Combs. Check out all those platforms. Check me out on there. Support me. Not by cash, just by hitting the like button, sharing, subscribing, or following me. At the end of the day, I want to see everyone be successful in life. But we can't become successful in life until we start making better decisions. Because the decisions that you make now will shape your future, and your kids' future, and your grandkids' future. Who is Childs on the Beat? The best producer in Louisiana. You don't believe me? Check out his YouTube page. Thank everyone for supporting me. Also, comment. Please comment on the video. I want to hear your own perspective on the video. And other people that's gonna watch the video, they're able to see your comments and get your point of view because they might can learn from you also. Thank you.